I'm Johnny Scoville, and this is Chase the Heat, South America. Hello, Blitz Blitz. Good to see you. Chris Melinda, Rocket Queen, Rock Bandy, Jane Aldrich. Thank you guys for being in Ace World. They wait until I go live. All right, let's pull the okie doke. Hit that like button. We're going to get started. Thank you for the 5x5, Jane Aldrich. Okay, now about a couple weeks ago, Tommy was doing a morning show, and I looked out the window in the kitchen, and it was dark, and it was dark. It's going to be an overcast, and there wasn't any light really. Through the clouds, this column of light. Hi, Lisa Triple. This column of light shined down right on one boat, right in the middle of it. I was like, holy mackerel. I went out there, and I made a video, and in the video, I said, how often do you see that? That was a rare occasion, you know. Robert Pop Springs. Gramps Springs. Good to see you. Toby Reveille. Good to see you. Anyway, within a week, I look out. Lo and behold, I see another column of light. And guess what's at the base of it? Right at the bottom. Another boat. You know what it made me realize? Is it that rare? Hi, Barbara. Is it that rare, or do we have to look for it? Kind of like lessons. There are lessons, right, in everything. Tommy had a lesson. He's probably going to tell you about it. Hi, Jeremy. He had a lesson that he learned from his pain, right? Well, I think there are lessons in everything, but we've got to look for it. Hi, Cheryl Chambers, Tassie Dalt. You know, if we don't look for a lesson, I think we miss it. It's kind of like if you have a failure, you make a mistake and you fail, it's only really a failure if you don't learn from it. You got to look for it, right? All right, so what did I learn through this? So I made some notes here, and this is the interesting thing. You know, Tommy was in really bad pain. I was helpless to fix it, right? So all I could do was be present and hang out with him. I got to tell you something. It wasn't easy. If I could have flipped this, it was harder. It's easy for me to say this because I wasn't in pain. But I would have rather been the guy in pain than have to watch my brother go through it. I didn't want to go take a walk every 20 minutes because I didn't want to watch him suffer. Out there, good to see you. It was rough. It was a drag. But the solution comes. You know, he ended up getting healthy and he fixed his tooth. Hi, Tony Suter. Hello, John. The solution comes not from rushing in. It doesn't come from control. It comes from staying in the moment. And this is an expression I used to hate, but trusting the process. That's really what it comes down to. Relief doesn't always come from, escape. It comes from being present, I think. Here's the thing about that. As far like with pain, people try to escape it. They do. They run from it. With distraction. Hello, Thomas Smith. Good to see you. Through denial a lot of times, right? Numbing it. There are people that, for years, I took substances to numb everything. So I didn't feel anything. You know what happened when I got sober? I wanted to feel everything. The good, the bad, and the ugly. That was important to me. So, there's nothing I could do to numb Tommy's pain. So I just kind of sat there with him. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun at all. But I stayed in the pocket and hung out. And then what happened is a door opened. You know what that opening door was? Getting that thing yanked out of his head. I could tell. I almost want to tell everybody how it went down this morning, but I don't want to steal Tommy's thunder. So what lessons did I learn from this? That's the big question. Because in time, here's the thing. In time, Tommy's going to forget the pain he had. He might tell you he's not, but he will. Moms forget the pain of childbirth. I have 3 children. My kid's mom forgot the pain of childbirth the minute she held our babies. It's kind of how it works, So Tommy's going to forget the pain, but you know what he won't forget? Who sat there with him when he was going through it. That people don't always remember what hurt them. They certainly remember who showed up and hung out with them when they were going through it. Hi, Susie. Good morning. So that's what it was awful. It was terrible. But I learned from hanging there with him. It was an amazing experience. Krishna said, I did not forget childbirth pain. I think about the pain I experienced eating peppers. And it's a lot more is coming. It was too much fun the other day not to. If you didn't see that video, you got to watch it. It was hilarious. My tolerance is gone, but I like pain. I'm into feeling stuff now, so I'm looking forward to going through it all over again. But when I look back on what I did, I can look at I don't look at the videos I was in, but like the plutonium, one of the most epic challenges ever. I did it 3 times and drank the whole vial of extract. I know the pain because it was a video, but I don't really remember the pain that much. I remember it was awful, but I can't really remember what that pain was like. I just know it was about as close. I wanted to tap out. So people do forget the pain, and he's going to. That's why it's interesting. I've said this a bunch of times, but we have scars for a reason, and the reason we have scars is to remind us that what we endured actually happened. If we didn't, we'd forget about it. I got a scar over this eyebrow. I remember how it got there. I'll never forget it. Every time I shave, I see it, right? But what pain does is it reminds you that you're alive. Hi, Arwa. Thank you for being here. Pain reminds you that you're still alive. That's a cool thing because it's better than the alternative. Chili in the Valley. Tooth pain is horrible. That's a fact. So I'm going to go over some of these. If you have a question or a comment, throw some capital Q's in there. If you got a comment you want me to read, throw some capital C's in there, and it'll catch my attention, and I will flag it. I'm kind of stuffed up. Had the AC going almost all day today. Thomas Swift says, I have a question. Would getting pure liquid capsaicin, adding it to non-spicy sauces, would it be a better deal, or keep buying random hot sauces? Well, pure capsaicin crystals, or if you get the drops, the good thing about that is, Thomas, is that it doesn't have a flavor, so it doesn't alter the flavor profile of the sauce you're eating. It just magnifies the heat. So it's a pretty good way to, But here's the thing: it only, I like different kinds of sauces. So I think if I had one sauce and that was all I got, I'd kind of get sick of it. So I think some of the fun of hot sauces is trying different sauces, right? So you certainly could. I mean, if you have a lot of sauce, if you have a certain sauce that you're absolutely in love with, by all means, you can just get the capsaicin drops and add them to it and spike it up and kind of certainly raise your tolerance that way. But for me, I'm a hot sauce nerd. When a company that I know has a new hot sauce that comes out, I'm fired up about it. I want to eat it, Boogaloo Jedi, Roberta. So good to see you. Let's see. Tossy Doll, funniest comments I've seen in a long time the other day. Wasn't that funny? If you guys didn't see it, I reviewed this sauce from Olay Hot Sauce. It's Carolina Reaper. I've eaten so many Reapers. I've guzzled entire bottles of sauce, and I've eaten stuff way hotter than this, but my tolerance is gone. Tolerances rise pretty quickly, actually, but they drop even faster. That's no joke. They drop really fast. So my tolerance is gone. So I did a video the other day. If you haven't seen it, you need to, because it was funny. I did that sauce, and I knew it was going to hurt me, so I stalled for the first 30 minutes. I kept looking for comments and questions. There it is. Funniest video I've ever seen, been a part of. Because at the half-hour mark, or 8:32 or 7, whatever it was, 2 minutes after the half-hour mark, I ate the sauce. And then what happened was people started making really funny comments. And they were in a very nice and respectful way. They were roasting me. They really were. And it was I couldn't stop laughing. I laughed so hard I had tears in my eyes. I never watch videos that I'm in unless somebody else is in with me. So I didn't watch that after it was over, but I did go in and play it and just read the comments. The comments were hilarious. It was a roast, and it was the funniest. If you want to have a good time, watch that video. It was hilarious. Thomas Smith, tastiest super hot pepper, in my opinion. It's a good question. I love chocolate peppers because they a lot of times they're floral and bitter, and floral. If you put those two flavors together, it's spectacular. So, chocolate pods, any chocolate super hot is great. Yellow super hot pods like Tom Grove has the killer yellow, and I'll tell you something. That is here's the thing with yellow sauces. What happens is you get a lot more citrus notes. And his killer yellow smells like a lemon, and it has such a strong citrus flavor. So yellow super hots are really spectacular. So that's probably what I'd say. Chocolate and yellow. Let's see. Hi, Johnny, said Boogaloo Jedi. I got into a boating accident. My best friend, his younger brother, on Friday. No way. 2 of us were ejected, landed on dry ground. Dry ground? That's interesting. Sounds terrible. I'm fine, but my friend broke ribs, sternum, and collarbone. Wow. I'm glad you're okay. I'm sorry about your friends. Have you seen this new stupid, ridiculous TikTok? Hi, Jarrett from Long Island. Was born there. Holy moly. Have you seen the new TikTok trend where people are jumping out of like speedboats while they're like 30 miles an hour, just jumping off the back? I'm telling you, there are people that are going to end up paralyzed from that. You got to be careful. I'm glad you're okay, for real. Roberta, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. Thank you for being here. So Thomas says, yeah, but I can make a bunch of non-spicy sauces with a blender and add heat to it. You sure can. I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all. If you grow your own peppers, it's a beautiful thing to do. You control exactly the flavor profile you want. I heard you can burn out your capsaicin receptors on your tongue. This is how I would answer that. I think if that were actually possible, I think I would have burned my taste buds my receptors a long time ago. And it didn't happen to me, so I don't think it's something you need to worry about. Kellyanne, she was responsible for some of the funniest comments during my roast. It was unbelievable. Thank you for that. It was great. Connor says it's an instant classic. It was funny. Tom and I were talking about roast. You ever watch the roast on TV? I saw them roast Pamela Anderson. I had to turn it off. It was the most disgusting, degrading, offensive thing I've ever seen in my life. Horrible. I was talking to Tommy about it. I'm like, I don't care whatever happened. I would never do a roast. I did a roast. But it was different. It was all very respectful. It was fun. There was no mean comments. I laughed my skull off. It was hilarious. I also drank about almost a gallon of yogurt that night. I'm not even kidding you. Tassie Doll, any idea when the next sauce review will be? Let's see. Today's Monday. At the latest, Wednesday. I may do it tomorrow, but I got a lot of stuff to do. So Wednesday there'll be one. Absolutely. And also tomorrow morning, I'm going to the farmer's market. And you got to go there early or you don't get anything. So I will be at the farmer's market tomorrow morning early. And hopefully there's some great peppers there. I don't know. We'll find out. Blue Green, good to see you. That was a great stream. Wasn't it fun? It was hilarious. Honestly, the comments were 10 times better than what was happening in front of the camera. True story. Connor says you got to be able to laugh at yourself sometimes. Yeah. You know what's funny, though? There's a lot of people roasting me after the fact. They aren't quite as funny to me as they were in the moment. When the live stream was happening, I was dying. It was so funny. Afterwards, I'm like, yeah, you weren't live. You weren't there. What do you know? But I got, you got to be able to laugh at yourself. Thomas, ice cream and hot sauce. Ever try it? It is great. You know what? I'll bet you there are a dozen, maybe 2 dozen videos where I've done that. Blueberry, is it blueberry hell? So anything that with fruit is going to be a great sauce on ice cream. True story. In fact, if I have ice cream, I won't eat it really unless I have hot sauce. Beautiful. Let me see. I want to make sure I say hi. Wes Lightburn. Really good to see you. Arwa says it was the funniest roast. It really was. It was great. But you know, the truth is, wasn't everybody nice? I mean, they were roasting me, but it wasn't offensive or mean. Hear my nose? I am stuffed up. I love 7-Pot Primo. Nothing to be sorry about. That's one of my favorite peppers. That is a great pepper, created by a great guy. I love Troy. The logo, if you look at, or the banner that has the pepper, or right here, you can see it there, JC Pepper. That is a 7-Pot that Troy actually grew himself and sent me that for the purpose of putting in my banner. Connor actually bought a bottle of Melinda's 4X Habanero and Lola's Ghost Pepper Sauce today. First time I bought sauce in a long time. You know, I'm looking forward to getting back into it. I really got the bug to get back into it during that roast. I thought, man, we can do this every time. So it'll be a good motivator to increase my tolerance, for real. Real deal. And it's good to see you. Glad you're here. All right, so Boogaloo Jedi says, I guess I mentioned the recent boat accident because we are on the topic of pain. You bet. Some injuries leave scars that are visible to the naked eye. Some injuries scars within. Those wounds get. What do those wounds get? Let me scroll up and see, because I'm sure he finished his thought. Get neglected. Yeah, I can see that. I've had a lot of wounds that don't have any scar to, look what I got here. Yeah, I got a lot of those. True story. Fowler, good to see you, man. So Barbara says, just got here. Can you do a quick recap of the dentist trip? You know what? Tommy, they're asking me to recap the dentist trip. I don't want to steal Tommy's thunder because it's his story, I will tell you this. This is what I'll tell you because it's worth watching. You have to watch him after I'm done. We kind of have, both of us have a very high tolerance for pain. It's just one of those things. He said to me tonight that was the worst pain he's ever experienced. And he said that, I asked him, on a scale from 1 to 10, how high was it? He went, that's scary. So it's worth watching because I'll tell you what, the story, I told Brock, I told Kristen, that's about it. But it's worth watching. It was one of the most unbelievable experiences. You're going to talk about that tomorrow. Yeah. Here's the thing, just so you guys know, the nerve pain that he had is gone, which is terrific. However, he feels like he got beat up. He's not just sore here, he's sore up here. So he's in some pain. Are you going to go live tonight? He is not going to go live tonight. Sorry, guys, but he will be going live in the morning, and don't miss it because was that the crazy?
There's also no pain. So,
right?
Yeah. I'm doing this for the Tylenol.
He's doing well. Is it Tylenol or ibuprofen?
That's it.
But it was an amazing experience to watch. Yep. Connor says the roast was respectful and friendly. It really was. John says I haven't seen the whole thing. You don't have to watch the video. Just read the comments. Truly, just read the comments. They were amazing. Dassy Doll, the video that turned into Chase the Yogurt. That was hilarious. Kellyanne, Deep Martin roast used to be funny. Yeah. I watched, I can't remember who the comedian is. He's a black dude, a comedian. He was dying of diabetes. And one of the people said, hey, you're going to be dead soon anyway. That was one of the things they said in the roast. I was like, it was the most offensive thing. There's no humor in that. So, yeah, I don't understand that. I really don't. And they say it's done in love, whatever. I'm telling you, if somebody said if they ever talked to me to my face like that, that's why I don't like roasts. It wouldn't go well.
By the way, there's no infection.
Yeah, there was no infection, you guys. He's coming over, you guys. He coming over? He's not. Jason Ledford. David Booley, good to see you. Bonk. I want to bonk. Good to see you guys. Okay, Aftershock and Sweet Drizzle are both excellent. Yeah. You know what? Jeff McGinnis, that's the creator of those sauces. And he specializes in dessert sauces. I have had some yogurt today. I had some yogurt with granola. That's what I usually do for breakfast. That's why we have so much yogurt in the house. We go through a lot of that, especially when I'm doing reviews. Real deal, a Bard Farmers Market, always fun. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow. I'm going to take my camera and do some of my phone, and I'll film a little bit of it. Fowler says it was the most fun I've had in a long time. It was all in respect. I hope it reignited the passion. It sure did. It really did. You know what else it did that's pretty miraculous? If you've watched me for any length of time, you know that I do not like being called a legend. It's, I don't like it. And the reason I didn't like it is because I know a few legends, However, after getting burned to the point where I was drinking a gallon of yogurt from this, you can call me a legend if you want. I look back on the things that I've done. I'm like, wow, really? So I changed how I view being called that. I don't find it offensive anymore. Just like that. True story. Oh, this is good, Thomas. Super hot sauce, also known as hand-free backside Brazilian wax. Is that really a sauce? That's so funny. I like it. John says, is there a Scoville unit that will automatically put you in panic mode, say 20 to 30 million Scovilles? You know what? The hottest it gets is 16 million. Okay, it's the maximum that they can get. And I've eaten 16 million Scoville crystals, and I've done it as high as it gets. If my tolerance is high, there's very little that's going to put me in panic mode. If my tolerance is not, it can happen really easily. But the good news with that is it makes it a lot. People have commented. It makes it a lot easier. I think Chris had said it. It makes it a lot easier for me to attain an endorphin rush, which I kind of got a little bit of a one that night. I think that there's a Scoville level for eating, and then there's a weapon grade level. Yeah. Well, for bear spray, I think it's 2.5 to 4.5 million Scoville, and I got shot in the face right between the eyes, and it got both of my eyes with 9 million. At an event, and it was unbelievable. It was a drag. An instantaneous endorphin rush, just like that. And the next day, I had streaks on my face where that was terrible. 10 is nuts, I believe, too. Tooth pain sucks. It really does. It's not my thing. Rocket Queen, hope he's feeling better now, finally. He is, and, very grateful for that. Are those Tommy's blue glasses? You know what's really funny? I'm looking at 5 or 6 pair of glasses, so it's kind of a communal thing. We have like 15 pair of sunglasses, so we're brothers. We can share sunglasses. All right. I'm going to get to all these comments as quick as I can. Ice it, Tommy. Ice it, says Kellyanne. Kristen says, we shall have to accept the disembodied voice and as proof of life. I never liked insult humor. I never did either. Even like old school. I'm going to date myself here. Like Don Rickles. Like who? I never thought he was that funny. I really didn't. We all have scars. It's how we carry them. It's part of us, not what makes us. Just a part. Carry them with pride, not shame. Yeah, you know what? There's literally tattoos. All of my tattoos tell a story. Every one of them. It's the same thing with scars. Like I've told that story before, so it's true. Kellyanne, baby's tolerance steps. Kellyanne was responsible, and I kid you not, for some of the funniest comments the other night. Like, where's she coming up with these? I can't even imagine the crystals. They're hot. Right now, Connor would send me to the hospital. Forget panic mode. I mean, really, it really hurt me. But I'll get back again. Promise you. See, when I started this channel, none of you saw me get to there. You just saw me when I was already there. I'm going to give everybody a chance to watch me get to there again, which is cool. Boogaloo Jedi, I've seen a lot of your videos. I don't know how you got started chasing the heat. Specifically, did you start on fresh pods, sauces, extracts? I remember my first bad experience. I got started because my dad was my hero. Still is. Tommy and I had the best dad. We really did. We had the best dad there is. And when I was a little kid, hi, Diesel Smokes. When I was a little dude, he was eating peppered cheating. And I said, I want one. And he said, no, you won't like it. I just did it until he tapped out and said, here, have it. You're not going to like it. And I liked it. And that's sort of what started it. But I'll get back again. I promise you. It's like the stuff you could buy versus the stuff they don't sell to civilians. Yeah. Yep. It's a fact. See, there you go. Don Rickles' shtick wasn't for me, but I understand he was one of the sweetest, kindest men you'd ever want to meet. It was all persona on stage. Dated myself too. Yeah, here's the thing though. Even if that's a persona, I just don't dig it. I don't. You know, I got a great sense of humor. I like to think I do, but I just don't think, tearing people down, it's not a cool thing. Tassie said, did the cats act differently with Tommy in pain? Yeah, absolutely. They do know when you're in pain. Yep, both did. Squirrel did, and Katie for sure. They would extra attention. Katie was like by his face a lot. It was cute. Look at that. Kellyanne doesn't like Don Rickles either. Sarcasm is trying to hurt someone under the guise of humor. It's a crappy thing to do to somebody. Kellyanne was a rock star the other night. She really was hilarious. I may go back and watch it again. That's not even a joke. It was so much fun. How much hotter are fresh pods versus freeze dried? I think, I've gone back and forth with that. When I first started eating peppers, I thought that the freeze dried were hotter. And the reason for that is a pepper has about 90% of a pepper is water. So if you dehydrate it, all you got is the hot, right? And that's true. But if you have a fresh pod, and there's so much moisture, and what happens, it spreads the oils around. It really makes them hurt. So since I'm into the pain part of it, I kind of like that. So. Thomas, wouldn't freeze dried concentrate? Yeah, well, it does, but it doesn't spread the capsaicin around nearly as much. Listen, this is just a theory. I'm not the authority. I mean, everybody has their own take on stuff. David Bully, good to see you. Stay strong, says David. Thank you, David. That's awfully kind of you. So tomorrow I'm going to be going to the farmers market early, like really early, and I'm going to shoot some video. I really hope that they're going to have some pods. I don't know. In the store, like I go to the store is so great here. I love it. Super Maxi is my favorite store, but they only have like 2 kinds of peppers, and they never vary. So it's sort of a drag. I'm going to find it. What would happen if I cooked peppers and meat in a pressure cooker? There's only one way to find out, Thomas. I think you have your marching orders. Do it and tell me how it comes out. Rick Spicer, ever notice there's no capsaicin TP challenge? Right? Well, Troy is famous for saying, put your toilet paper in the freezer. Doesn't help, I've been told. But you never know. Give me a recipe and I'll try it. Well, that's the fun part, Thomas. You got to come up with it. Some garlic, right? Some onion, maybe. What kind of meat are you talking about? Got my Instapot ready to go. So here's the deal. Tommy is still hurting. I'm not stalling for the next sauce. I got to get him. I have 4 sauces here now. 3 sauces. One's already gone. Pork ribs would be good. But I'm going to be buying more. Trust me. I promise. Pork ribs would be good. It would be. Spicy steak. That would be great. So they when we left, Archie's mom, good to see you. I don't know. It's a good question, Thomas. What cut? Not sure. But today when we left, he gave us a whole list of things that Tommy's not allowed to eat. You know what left? Steak. So Tommy's eating a lot of steak. He had steak for dinner tonight. No, Wes, I try to see the humor in most things. It's the Irish in me, just feeding off the moment and the group. Wait, what funny, but filled with kindness and care. Listen, you were wonderful. There was no Don Rickles kind of angle the other night. Hi, Lila Klein. Actually, you know what? I'm getting ready to stop because I'm going to go take care of my brother. But you're not that late. It's just going to be a short stream today. Yeah, but there was no Don Rickles the other night. It really was nice. And here's the thing: it took a while for people to get into it. You know that? I don't know why people do this with me. Always, forever, they'd make a comment and go "JK," like they think I don't have a sense of humor. So the other night, I'm like, "Hey, don't walk it back. Don't joke. It's okay." And the second I said that, it was okay. Hi, Ann. And I mean, I didn't count them, but they're honest to God, it was the funniest video. In fact, I'm gonna watch it when I go to bed tonight. But I'm going to get off right now and go hang out with Tommy. He needs to put something cold on his face. If he doesn't, he's not really swollen though, and it still hurts a little. All right, but it's not nerve pain. It's just from getting. The only thing I'll tell you about Tommy's visit this morning with the doctor is that it was once he got it in the chair, it was painless, no pain at all. He said he didn't even feel it. Boogaloo Jedi, when I was about 5, I hold on, had a beautiful ornamental Thai pepper plant. They grew like flowers, purple, red, and orange. I ate one, it destroyed me. Never checked up. Eating hot sauce since. Listen, it's good for you. I think it's good for you. LOL, you let the floodgates open with that one. Gave us permission. Bad move. Right? Well, that's a good reason for me to get my tolerance back up, right? Yeah, I'm not, I don't, it is. It's trying to make a joke, but it's nasty. I don't like, I don't know. Sarcasm. How many people are really sarcastic that you just love? I don't dig sarcasm. If somebody I know is really sarcastic, I kind of just get away from them. That's just how I am. I don't have time for that. Who does? All right. So listen, I'm sorry to make this short. I'm going to go take care of my bro.
Humor's cruel cousin.
Yeah. He says that sarcasm is humor's cruel cousin. Good way to look at it. All right. I love you guys. I'm going to the farmer's market in the morning, and hopefully I'll have some great peppers, some good video for you. And I will be eating peppers again. You know why? I want you guys to do that again. It was fun. And that's a great motivator to get back to where I was and quickly. I love you guys a lot. Please be kind. Tommy will be there in the morning. What time?
Local time, 7 o'clock on the Pacific Coast.
7:30 on the Pacific Coast. We will see you then. And listen, thank you for being here. Honestly, we really appreciate it. And please don't miss tomorrow because it's one of the most interesting stories. I promise nobody has ever had an experience at a dentist like he had this morning. And I got to witness it. It was great. Although I will tell you this, I was doing this in the waiting room because I was afraid I was going to hear something I didn't want to hear. I was like rocking back and forth like a crazy person. All right, guys, I'll see you in the morning. Much love. I'm Johnny Scoville. This was Chase the Heat, South America.